Okay, so the three biggest wins is I showed myself that I can make money and support clients whilst traveling internationally. Like, to me, that is just the coolest thing ever, that I was literally on the other side of the world, completely different time zone to Australia. And I was making money, like new cash. I was like signing new clients. And don't get me wrong, it definitely slowed down because I wasn't working. But the fact that it still happened is just like mind blowing to me. And like I said, I did not work. Like, I was so checked out of my business, it's not funny. I was very in depth with my clients still. Like, I supported them as per usual. It's just that when I responded to them was different, not so much how often though. And yeah, there was no issues with that. So that was really cool to showcase that to myself, that I can be wherever I want to be in the world and be supporting clients as per usual and traveling and just like living my best life. That was such a cool permission slip. The second thing is that July showed me that it is possible to have it all. I have the greatest friends, and that was showcased at such a deep level on this trip. I have an incredible business, an amazing team. I have great health. I'm in an incredible relationship. I make a lot of money for my age and where I'm at, and I have a lot of freedom and spaciousness. Like, I don't know, the list just goes on. I just feel very, very blessed. And I also know that I absolutely worked for this and created it, like from the ground up. But July really highlighted this at the deepest level. And I think just because I was traveling and experiencing so many new things, that it just showed me that you can really have it all. Like, you can have it all. And I just think that's amazing. And then the third biggest win for me was that I just barely worked, which might not sound like a win, but for me it's such a big deal because I'm not a huge fan of labels, but if I was to label myself quickly, I would say I'm like a borderline workaholic. Like, I love working. I could do it all day, every day. I don't get sick of it. I'm just obsessed, and I'm a very go-getter driven person that doesn't stop or slow down very often. And my goodness, did I slow down, guys. I was just sitting by the beach and not working because my friends weren't working, and I just stopped working. I even thought I was going to be productive on the planes and doing all this work. Guys, I didn't even open my laptop like on the planes at all. The only time I opened my laptop was on the flight home, and it was to play The Sims, because I found out that you can play The Sims without having CD discs. Like, you just buy it on the computer, and that was my childhood, and I love The Sims, and anyone that thinks that's weird is just like not my person. I'm obsessed, although I haven't played it since, and thank God, because I've got a very addicted personality. And yeah, that would be a dangerous rabbit hole to go down. But when I was in holiday mode, I was playing it and it was so fun. And so I barely worked. I couldn't get myself to work if I tried. It actually turned out to be a problem in the end, which I'll get into later. So they're my biggest wins, is I just like changed as a person. I'm so chill. It's actually not even funny. 3 biggest lessons. So lesson number 1 is that things actually need to be set up a little bit differently in my business in order to make even more money, especially when traveling. So yes, I made money whilst I was traveling, and that was amazing, but I realized I couldn't keep doing that and keep the momentum up with the way things are now. So I did learn that in order for money to be made, it is quite reliant on me still. Because I take the sales calls, because I use sales calls currently as part of my business model. So it slowed down because I stopped doing that. I opened up half a day out of the whole 3 weeks to have a couple of calls, and that's how I signed a couple of clients. But, I had to do that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have signed as many clients. So that was a wake-up call that, okay, that's something I kind of want to change. And just like, not even just to do with traveling, I also just have reflected in the month of July that, I have been at the same level in business. Like, yes, I've been slowly going up, but roughly the same amount of recurring revenue for quite some time now. And if I want to double it, things absolutely need to change. And, that was a huge lesson. And you could look at that as bad or scary, but I just look at it as like, exciting to know. Number 2 out of lessons is simplifying is just like a never-ending journey, but it truly is the answer. Like, I've become obsessed with like simplifying my business and my life. And I'm just on this never ending journey. And I think I've just accepted that it might not ever be done. It's just a journey, because you're always just going to keep finding ways to get better and better at things. And so me and my team are on this mission to do that right now. And my goodness, will I have an exciting podcast episode for you next month, because we would have rolled out so many changes. The third biggest lesson is to trust my gut. So I'll get into this in a little bit, but basically I just realized that this year, because we've been making so many changes, I've been learning from a fair few different people and doing some different things. I started to trust what a lot of other people were saying and getting a lot of mixed messaging that actually like lost my voice a little bit and stopped trusting myself. And I just realized, especially at the end of July, the very end of July, which, you know, I'm really glad I got these lessons right before the month ended so that this episode was helpful. I just realized like I need to trust myself, especially if you guys are familiar with human design. My human design is a manifesting generator, and that design and my specific type within that, like for my design, it's very much, if it's not a fuck yes, it's a fuck no. And I just like anchored back into that, and I was like, some of these things that is going on in the business or that we're doing like doesn't feel like a fuck yes. I need to stop doing it. I need to do the things that feel really, really good. So I, just really started to trust my gut more and just come back to that. And that's when things just like turned around in an instant. So that was an amazing lesson. Now, the three biggest challenges that I want to speak into here is, one, I was actually scared I was never going to feel like working again. I'm telling you, something's like a flip switched for me in Europe. And I was like, and especially when I came back after, and especially because in June I was also traveling. I was in New Zealand for a week. So I was in New Zealand for a week. Then I came back to Brisbane for 1 week. And then I went to Europe for 3 weeks, right? That's a long period of time, especially that week in between. I was not productive because my friend who I was traveling with to Europe to meet our other friend who was already there, like she was with me all that week. So I was just in holiday mode I've been in holiday mode literally since like the beginning of June, it feels like. And I have not really been in a working mood ever since then. And I started to get genuinely scared that my work ethic, my drive, my motivation was just gone for life. I know that sounds a little bit dramatic, but that's what I felt like last week when I was sick and jet lag and all of the things. I was like, I'm never going to feel like working again. And now I am all of a sudden proud of like being a quote unquote workaholic and driven and motivated, and anyone that ever in the future tries to make that sound like a negative thing, I'm going to have something to say to it, because what I felt last week when I did not feel like doing that was not a fun feeling. I was like, this is boring. I don't feel like doing anything. This is just a bad feeling. Working, being passionate about what you do and being excited and wanting to lean into that is the best feeling ever. And I'm so glad it came back. And so that was like literally a challenge. I was like, oh my God, I've lost everything to do with my personality. I've lost all the will to work, but no, it's come back, so it's fine. The second biggest challenge was I started to not recognize my business. And it's not that happened in July. That has been a slow thing that's been coming this year, but I realized that was the problem in July when I got back from my trip. I realized that I've made so many changes this year to my business that it's actually almost unrecognizable, and that's just something I needed to own and acknowledge. So we've changed our branding, we've changed our method name, we've changed the structure of our offers, we've added ads, we have changed target audiences, we've changed the messaging, we changed my event types, we changed so many things and learned from so many new people and we changed the back end of our business to a whole different CRM. And I don't even know how to use it still, like quite literally. So I don't even know how to use my own business anymore. I will learn that, and I'm learning it now, but I was just being a little bit dramatic at the start of this year. No, it's last week, sorry. But I just realized I just don't recognize anything. And so that was a huge, scary wake-up call. But now that I've acknowledged that, oh, no wonder I've been feeling a little bit off or a little bit stuck or not feeling like working, because I don't even understand what's going on a little bit. And so just acknowledging that already made me feel immediately better. And that's when I started to trust my gut on like, right, these are the things that need to be done. This is what I need to do. This is how I need to feel. This is what I need to communicate. Once I did all of that and started trusting my gut, I just immediately felt better. So we're still making changes that's going to make my business even more unrecognizable, but it's just the acknowledgement of it and making sure that the decisions I'm making is because it's coming from me and what feels good. Like that's what solved that. So that was really interesting. The third biggest challenge I went through in July was sitting in the messy middle. So that week after Europe, honestly, like I think I just hit a little bit of a plateau there emotionally. And I was like just having to sit in the discomfort of not recognizing my business, not being sure what to do with my next steps and feeling a little bit stuck. And I've made it sound like I've been feeling like this for ages. It was really just that 1 week. I don't know why it was so catastrophic, but it just all came at once after being traveling for like so many months. And so just having to sit in that discomfort was a challenge. But then because I had these breakthroughs, these awarenesses, these lessons, and I executed on them, I felt immediately better. And I've made so many new decisions that I am beyond excited about. We're in a new launch now and all of these things. And it's just come from this whole new surge of energy and alignment and clarity. So I feel amazing now. But yeah, that was my biggest wins, my biggest lessons, and my biggest challenges. So next month, I'm going to have a huge update for you because we are rolling out some big changes with the offering structure. We're just simplifying everything. We are removing subscriptions. We are getting rid of things. We are consolidating things. We are merging programs. We're doing all of the things right now. I've upgraded my method again, but in a way that truly feels aligned because it's just coming from me now a little bit more. So I feel great. Some things that I'm going to be doing for the next month ahead to, reach my goals is I'm running a launch that should increase sales significantly. We've also had so many new people join my programs in the last 48 hours, which has been so cool from these changes I've been making. I'm going to be continuing to run 3 times a week. I hope I keep that up because I really love it. And then still going to the gym, sauna, wellness, cold plunges every day. And going to keep going on date nights with Geordie, living our best life. I've already invested in shares for August, and we're going to continue to run ads to the podcast, and we're just putting it more in our emails and funnels and things like that so more people find it. So if you're not already subscribed to the podcast, please come subscribe. It means a lot to us. We're on a mission to get this podcast out there far and wide to everyone. But other than that, that was the month of July. A bit of a word vomit. You can see there's lots of positive things personally, professionally. It was a bit of a slower month, but what happened at the end is enough to make the whole thing very expansive and worth it, just from the alignment and energetic component. And yeah, we're already seeing that financial return at quite a large scale, and I'm super excited for where this launch is going to go and just the people we're going to impact. So thanks for listening along. If you think anyone else would like these very transparent, real, raw, vulnerable episodes, please do send them because it means a lot to me to be able to spread this far and wide. I love you all, and I'll see you next week. Bye. If you enjoyed this episode, I would love it if you could take a moment to spread the word so I can continue to create episodes such as this each week. By leaving a review on the podcast, I'd love to gift you my Rising Coach Method Assessment Training Plus Workbook, where you will be able to audit your entire business using the Rising Coach Method. Here, you will find out exactly what you need to improve to be able to grow and scale your business further. Once you've left a review, DM me on Instagram at Sofia Rose Bernardi, and I will send you this training and workbook that is exclusively for my podcast listeners. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next episode.